motion together, me and Paul.
Yeah, I've seen it, and I sent it to the chairman.
I've seen it.
I've seen it, yeah.
I'm afraid to start the meeting. I have a few sad things to tell you. First of all, I don't know, those of you who are rather new won't remember him perhaps, but a lot of you will remember Gary Price, who worked for the County Council here, and when my Vice Chairman was Chairman before, and when I was Chairman before, he used to drive the official car now and again. And he was a lovely man. He suffered quite a lot of ill health, and unfortunately he was only 49 when he died. And also, same age again, which is very sad, of course we have the death of Carl Sargent. And before I have a minute's silence, I'll call upon Dimitri to say a few words about Carl Sargent.
I don't have much to say except for I didn't know Carl really well. I met him a few times, but for me it highlights being in the public eye and the effect that can have on someone, and regardless of your politics, and we all heatedly get involved in here, but it's always about policies, never about as an individual. And said allegations or what you do in your private life. Personally, I don't care what you do in your private life. But with allegations, I have to be taken seriously. But never forget that being in the public eye can be unforgiving. And I think this is related to possibly mental health as well. And we should always bear those things in mind.
I'd like to add my remarks to Councillor Petruni. I met Carl Sargent on a number of occasions over the years. He was a larger-than-life character, but he was straightforward in everything that he said. Yes, we had our differences, but you always knew that he was genuine in everything that he said. And I know, as far as the local government family, particularly in Flintshire, is concerned, they mourn his loss greatly, not just as their assembly member, but as a friend. And that friendship went right across political boundaries. I know that there are people in my own party who have spoken very highly of him and how we all mourn his passing. And our thoughts and our prayers should now be with his family in particular. A very difficult time for anybody, but under the circumstances of his death, particularly difficult for his family. May he rest in peace.
Because Carl was a colleague of mine when I joined the Welsh Assembly in 2003, and he was such a kind, caring and cheeky man, and I enjoyed many a political debate with him, but he was someone who was fully committed to his constituents and who I respected greatly for the work that he did in the Welsh Assembly, and I know that he will be missed across the board in the Assembly by all parties and by everyone that knew him. So yeah, rest in peace, Carl.
We'll just stand for a minute's silence for both these colleagues. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, may I just also mention Gary? Many of us will have seen Gary around the building on numerous occasions, going from department to department, delivering post, as well as the time that he was driving the car. He will be greatly missed again, and again, at such a young age, our thoughts go out to his family at this time.
We do have before I go on to the petitions, I'd just like to say one word, and I hope you won't take offence at this. But when we have a debate, lots of people put their hands up and they all want to speak. And very often, by the time it's got to you, somebody else has said your point, but you feel you have to get up and say the same thing. I'd be very grateful if you know that somebody said the point that you want to make, if you just decline from speaking the second time, so we can get the debate flowing better and get the meeting over quicker. Thank you very much. I don't want to deter from any debate, but there's no point in repeating things. Thank you. You have.
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a petition on behalf of the residents of Devorden. The petition relates to the desire to extend the 30-mile-an-hour limit that runs through Devorden. Devorden is a village which is increasingly used as a commuter run, and sometimes the traffic there, especially at rush hours, is quite a lot. And there is no doubt that, having been there myself at those times, there is a danger to children, especially, crossing the road just outside the existing 30-mile-an-hour limit. And therefore, residents have put together this petition. They don't do that lightheartedly. People don't go for a petition unless they feel very strongly about an issue. And we've had many petitions coming to this council on the similar subject of speed limits. And I do hope that we actually find a way of being able to satisfy some of these. The perception of danger on our roads is growing. We do need to address this, Madam Chair.
Apologies for absence, please.
Yes, Chairman. Apologies from the leader of the county, Councillor Peter Fox, from Councillor Brian Jones, Councillor Matt Feekins and Councillor Louise Brown.
Yeah. Anybody else? No. Thank you. Did you wish to speak? Simon?
It was just to remind you, we just seem to have missed apologies out, Chair. We've sort of.
Thank you. Declarations of interest. Councillor Taylor.
Item 8.2 and 8.3, please, with reference to an Arran Bevan Health Board. I'm an independent community member of an Arran Bevan Health Board. I think that's a personal interest. I don't necessarily think it's prejudicial if I take no part in the debate, Chair. I could stay in the room, but I defer to the monitoring officer to confirm that.
Yes, I think that's right, Councillor Taylor. I think if you want to get involved in the debate, you could do. I think the question you should ask yourself is whether or not there's any conflict between your role here as a county councillor and your role as that independent member on the health board. As long as you're comfortable in that, I would suggest you can take part in the debate also.
I was just going to say, I'd welcome the opportunity to listen to members' views if that's why I would stay, or I can watch it on the live stream if that's more appropriate.
Oh, Councillor
Watts. I'd really like some advice, really, because when it comes to this issue of the health board, later on the agenda, I've got, as you know, Pauline, my mother, is an outpatient of or some of you will know, outpatient of that service. So, you know, am I potentially conflicted? Can I take part in the debate? It's a fairly emotive subject, isn't it? So I'd look for some advice on that, really.
Again, I think you can take part in the debate on the basis that your mother is uses the service. Lots of people use the service, I would imagine, Councillor Watts. So that's obviously a big factor there. So I would say that you don't need to declare personal interest even on that, and take a full part in the debate.
Councillor Guppy.
Just a personal interest, non-prejudicial. I'm an employee of an Iron Bevan University Health Board.
Is that all for now? Thank you. The minutes of the County Council held on the 21st of September. Just for accuracy, has anyone anything they need to bring up for accuracy?
Yeah, on page 5, Chairman, we discussed at the last meeting representation on Monmouth housing. My time has now lapsed and I need to be replaced. It's the thinking of our group that now could be passed to the opposition, and I understand that there is a delegate who wishes to go forward to Mon Housing to replace me.
Sorry, having a little debate. I will take that position temporarily. When I say I'll take it up, but just, you know, I will want to check frequencies and time commitments, but I'm happy to take it up for now. Thank you.
Councillor Greenland.
Yes, Madam Chair. I'm not sure whether this appointment is an appointment of Council, Cabinet or what. Perhaps the monitoring officer could help us on that, or perhaps Democratic Services. What sort of appointment is this, and what is the process for formally putting Councillor Petruni forward for that position?
It's a good question, Councillor Greenland. Somewhat on the spot there. I think it is it's an appointment, isn't it? It's an appointment that's made at our annual meeting in May, I think. And it's normally done for either the term of the council or for 12 months. But if Councillor Clark's time is up on that to serve on the Housing Association, then it'll be a matter for this council to nominate someone to replace Councillor Clark.
Anyone seconding that? Oh, it's several seconds. Thank you very much. Then, oh yes, we've got to take a vote. Sorry. All those in favour of Councillor Petruni? Thank you, Chair. You see, I guess what the answer is going to be. Thank you. Item 6, to receive the minutes of the Audit Committee. Councillor Jim Higginson, are you going to deal with these two,
Yeah,
please?
thank you, Madam Chairman. I just asked the Council to accept the minutes of both the 6th of July and indeed the 19th of September last. Thank you.
Have you a seconder for that? Thank you. All in favour? Thank you. To receive the minutes of the Democratic Services Committee. Mr. Dave Evans?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. Can I ask the Council to receive as read, please?
Thank you. Secondly, oh.
Chairman, may I ask a question? Because I've scrutinised these sets of minutes, and
Yes.
I think we need to be very clear. Could you answer, or somebody answer in here, why we actually changed our services for members, i.e. with the laptops? I can see no recollection that a discussion took place with the provision of new laptops, and for staff as well, within